We want to thank you for sacrificing some of your rest to kind of share what's going on in Oklahoma. And that's really what we want to talk about. Like I said, I want to be really mindful of your time and make the most out of it and not keep you too much. And, there's a lot going on in Oklahoma, and you're a tattoo artist out there. And I want to kind of start off by, for those who don't know you, find out a little bit about your history and how you've been tattooing and then how you ended up in that state.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting story. Oklahoma has only been really legal to tattoo here for about 15, I think, to 16 years. So I'm originally from the East. I'm originally from Florida, and I've been tattooing since 2006 professionally. And that's where I started. But I moved here in 2014, and so coming on my 10 years. And let me know, Ben, if you can't hear me. My headphones are weird.
Good.
Okay, good. And I came here because I found that there was a need for people that specialize in cover-ups, scar camouflaging, and just like large, really detailed color. And I was kind of a dime a dozen in Florida with all the neo-trendy guys and all the full color artists down there. So I just saw it as a potential to have some new clients that really, really thought, they were very considerate towards the craft, because they knew it had been illegal for so long. Everyone had to drive to Texas or different neighboring states where they can get a legal tattoo that was decent. So Oklahoma, and even the public, has a really sound understanding for the troubles that tattooers have been through, because they themselves haven't been able to acquire tattoo here only, for like a little over a decade. So I'm going to bring up some points that hopefully even the public and our clients, the people who love getting tattooed here in Oklahoma, they can actually help too.
Yeah.
Because, more voices the better is how I consider it. So yeah, I'll get on the top points right away, if that's okay.
Of course. If you have stuff you want to share, please. Far away.
Cool. As of now, we've all received a letter last month, with very short notice, that the new requirements and laws that we'll have to be facing, of course, is the 1,000-foot distance from a school, church, or playground, a $100,000 surety bond, and that's for every single individual tattoo artist, and 3 consecutive weeks of advertising that we're going to renew our licenses for shop and artists. So one, yes, we have found that this has all been deemed unconstitutional back in 2007. We have that paperwork. And so right now, there is a Discord that's being organized by a couple of really hardworking tattooers. And we've been able to gather up a good amount of tattooers. So if you're in Oklahoma and you tattoo, go on Discord and check out the Oklahoma Body Arts Alliance. And they're going to be voting. Right now, they're in the process of voting to see who is going to be on our individual board members to represent us to the health department, basically.
Yeah. Before we get too much more, I'd like to unpack some of that a little bit with, the first one you said was 1,000 feet from any schools, churches, or playgrounds. I mean, it sounds like it's just 1,000 feet from anywhere where children are. I mean, what does that mean? What is that?
I think that there's a very old law in Oklahoma that they haven't counted. It was something that they dug up. I think that, honestly, I think it's a biased opinion, probably. And that's honestly one of the main issues that has been happening since I've been owning a shop here, is that depending on who's in charge that day, and I know it seems, but it's that day, it seems like we have a new person that is in charge of us once a year, and sometimes he switches out even between that. So depending on who is reading the law that day, the laws are vague. They can be interpreted however you like. I think that they were trying to figure out how to better, their income as the health department, and saw it as we can make things a little bit more difficult. People maybe will shut down and have to reopen up. And really, I would like to think the best of people, and that I think we're past the point where tattooers are endangering children. We have on the door that you can't be 18. You have to be 18 or up to enter most of our establishments, unless you're for say, 16 and up. So yes, I can't actually say too much on that, because that's
Sure.
me assuming that these people have, malicious intent upon tattooers. But it's something that I see that they just saw it as a new law, saw that it wasn't being enacted, and then wanted to reinstate it.
Say, I mean, personally, yeah, I just find it a little offensive, because I don't know if you are, but I mean, I'm a father and have children, and obviously we all have clients in both of those demographics of people who go to church and people who are educators and such. So it definitely just shows kind of like I said, a discriminating type effort. It just is, and in that sense, it really kind of, I see what sort of stimulated a lot of, I guess, resistance by the tattoo artists there. It's like, really? Like, that's how you're going to come at us, So, but yeah, and that, I mean, that's really just like, almost like mud in the eye, or kind of below right away, which I did get a response from one of our posts that you could tell that the tattooist is now very adamant about going after the state and having them basically rebuke such BS, essentially.
Yes.
And now the $100,000 surety bond, which maybe you can unpack that a little bit more, because I mean, in some states we do require liability insurance, but I'm not sure how that translates into what's going on in Oklahoma.
Okay. And I did want to comment that you did have a good point with the distance. I didn't even consider it until now, but I mean, at my studio, we do have seasonal art shows where they're all age accepted. So even 4 times a year, we host a giant art show where children are allowed to enter their art and have things for them to do. We have activities like tattooers are kid friendly. If anyone's watching this, we're kid friendly when it's allowed. If you're scared of your children wandering into a tattoo shop, it's not going to happen. Yeah. We are mothers and fathers. Like we have respect for other people's children just as much as if we have respect for our own. And we are professional tattooers that are licensed, that are like, we have a higher standard to uphold. So even if people are scared of seeing tattooed people standing outside of the studio, you're going to see more derelicts. I'm sorry, 7-Eleven, but you're going to see more derelicts standing outside the gas station than professional people paying large amounts of money to get very nice artwork. So the people, I mean, most of my clients are doctors, engineers, like they're incredible members of society. So it's even kind of shameful to say that even for the clients that come in and get work from us, that we are predatory and can't be around a church or a schoolyard, and it's pretty discriminatory and disgusting. But yes, we hope that there's no malicious intent on that, and there's great confusion. So we're hopefully, once we open up that dialogue, they can see that. The surety bond, now that is a complicated thing, because opening my studio, which is a 3,000 square foot building, I have $100,000 surety bond for liability insurance for the building. Saying that we need that per individual tattoo artist is absolutely insane and unaffordable. There is a lot of tattooers right now, and the surety bond is based off your credit as well. So depending on your credit, I'm not a mather, so I'm hoping that my math is accurate on this. You could spend anywhere from, I mean, at most like $15,000 to like secure your surety bond. So, I know that there's a lot of statements of like, well, we don't have to care about derelict tattooers that have bad credit. People have bad credit. Life happens. We just went through COVID. A lot of us have student debt, bad credit. Good people have bad credit. And a lot of tattooers, like we, by niche, aren't deemed by a corporate head. We're on our own. We're LLC, privately incorporated individuals. Some of us are going to have some weird credit. So to kind of throw this on us on top of everything else, and I'll get to that. That's a bigger issue here. But right now we are to talk about right away these three things that are trying to be enacted. But to throw that other expense at us on top of all the other worries we have already in the state is also, I think, a really bad call on the person that is now in charge of making these decisions. So I think, personally, I do think that there has been a lack of education. Let's say it was done, but there is a lack of overall training and education from a new person coming into the position of making these laws and orders. So
Yeah.
And
So that's I would say that's pretty consistent across the board. And I see a few comments where like, hey, it's similar here, and we're dealing with the same thing in Mexico. There's such a high turnover in our state regulatory board, and every person that steps in has to basically try and reinvent the wheel and bring a new formula in, and usually it doesn't make sense. And it was, I mean, again, you're a business owner, a shop owner, I am as well. Of course, we maintain liability insurance and up to $1 million for some of us. But I wasn't aware that it was for every tattoo artist. Actually, I had to have $100,000 surety bond.
that's what I believe. That's how the letter read to me. So then on top of that, I will actually put this little tidbit. It is a little bit more of my personal opinion. So
Sure.
I don't want to stray too far. But talking about the issues we've had overall in the state is that there's not enough funding, there's not enough staffing from the health department for them to enforce the laws that we already have currently. So I'm not, a trained economist or anything, but I do know there should be an equal value and exchange to run a sustainable business, and here the health department is a business. And as we, as licensed and tax-paying, abiding tattooers, will give them money for a service. And the service is meant to protect us and the public of Oklahoma, and it's BC laws do nothing to protect us. And they haven't been able to even proceed protecting us with the laws that we have. And it's, again, my opinion as a student user, I have to admit, I'm tired. We're on top of life's responsibilities. I'm sure we can all agree, and our own clients. It's been a merry-go-round since opening my own studio, and the realities about opening up a business, with state legalities, but the health department, the disorder and the confusion, and it feels unstable. I've been to meetings, I've been to open forums, I've spoken on behalf of my area, my district, with the health department present, and our concerns have gone unheard for or at least the last 5 years that I know of, but I have friends that have been in this battle for 20 years, trying to get it legalized, keeping it nice, like keeping it regulatory, keeping the laws sustainable. And that's it. That's the problem. It's not sustainable the way that they're treating us. We are a community, industry. We are a workforce that can easily contribute to funding certain things within the health department, but the way that they're going about it, and we are not being heard. So hopefully, with this new group, there would be some leeway. They seem to be pretty organized, but I mean, I not to be being positive, because I have been in their office. We've had amazing, excellent points. But if you go to the health department right now and look at our state laws, they've been crossed out for over half a year. because they're still being revised. What am I to tell a tattoo apprentices? What am I supposed to know if my studios actually have to code? So yeah, for these enforced requirements to be open and to change all the time based off of bias interpretation, I think that the laws are too interpretive, and I think there should be better training within the health department. So I am for him, but I think there should be more funding and better training for them to continue the way that they are. So that's my little tidbit. That's my personal feeling on it.
Yeah.
But most important, there has, you and I both have been trying to navigate this and, get people together so we can talk about it, figure out and there's been some heat on the health department since this has begun. There's usually heat on the health department when anything tries to change, but we've all got this letter recently, and so I just wanted to give an update. We have gotten a letter stating that these, the new effective date for these has been moved to November 1st of this year. And they say to allow sufficient time for continued assessment and allow new applicants time to prepare for these permit regulatory requirements. So word in the street is they're getting death threats. And I just want to, I can't speak for everyone, but I think we can all agree that people in the health department are people, and mistakes can happen. I think the way that the Discord group is coming together is amazing. There's a lot of people that are joining. And of course there'll be, clash, there'll be whatever, but I think that keeping in mind that these people are understaffed, they are underpaid, we need to show them grace and professional.
I agree. Here in New Mexico, we've had our own hurdles and such, but you're right. I mean, these are just people who are doing a job, and they're typically not the ones making laws. They're just being mandated to enforce them. And usually, not only are they getting crap from the public, and it sounds like really bad crap. I didn't know that there was word on the street that there's death threats. That's horrible. But then they're also getting it from their their superiors as well, because of things aren't coming through in a sufficient amount of time. And you're right, they're understaffed, undereducated. So I mean, it's just an overall bad situation, just the way it's put together. And I still want to unpack the last piece, but then I want to discuss what the most effective steps you all are making forming this board. But real quick, I just want to kind of talk that one last one, because that one still is a little curious. The 3-week notice before opening a studio.
Yeah, so this one is dangerous too. They're all not very comfortable. But this is why the 3 consecutive weeks, there's some laws, even in some states, if you're getting married, post a newspaper, but the 3 consecutive weeks of the newspaper, of your local newspaper, that you are going to renew your license. That's also one of the requirements before you can renew your license. You have to have proof that you've done this. So, a lot of people are like, oh, that's great. So other businesses around you can contest you renewing, and that's what they're even offering for people who already have shops near a school ground. Or they're like, oh, don't worry, your grandfathered in, but you have to still contest. So it's like, well, no, it's not just neighbors that have the option to contest. It's everyone has the option to contest. Again, what the health department doesn't realize is that is the oldest way that tattooers can just abolish any kind of threat that they have. So there's so much beef that this is not okay, because there are shops that, smaller solo appointment only shops that are in threat of losing their entire studio and their investment because of someone who's bored and wants to play around with them. And so the health department's just giving them a way to create more problems as well with that.
giving themselves a whole lot more work to do.
Yeah, they can't manage things now. How are they gonna manage that? You know,
I mean, yeah, the man, just imagine you putting it out there, submitting your reapplication, and then, hold on, we gotta wait. We're gonna handle all these incoming, emails to dispute it and go through and manage them all and see if there's any credibility. And and that's just one license. So no, I could just. Again, he seems like just somebody sitting in a room going like, this sounds like a good idea. Like, let me write this up.
yeah.
I have no idea how it's going to work out.
Well, I mean, it's politics. It is politically, it is politically, I think, opinionated. Dare a state mirror another state? And we've brought them plenty of markups of other states and how they run their health department for the tattooers and piercers communities. We've shown how much licenses are in other states. Oklahoma is one of the top highest licensing in America. It is $1,000 to renew your studio license, and $200 to get your tattoo license, and it's $250 to renew it each year. So individually, we have a lot of fees and dues, and that's on top of our bloodborne CPR, bloodborne powers. That's on top of insurance. That's on top of we to be able to guess. Oh, this is also this is a point for the community that aren't tattooers that I want to make and stress. So in Oklahoma, if you love getting tattooed, these new laws are not making it very easy, one, for the tattooers to come into the state, while they can just go to Texas, because you don't have to do shit. Excuse me. You don't have to do anything. You can just you can get a shed and you get tattooed. I can drive an RV down, tattooed, right? So, dare you be in the same quarters? No. So, one, it's hard to get people in here to get new art, to get new education, to expand, the horizon of artwork that is possible to get here in Oklahoma. But also, it's hard to keep tattooers here. I've been watching the posts, and I think, just me, I've seen 5 tattooers just leave the state. So you don't want to have to drive or travel to tattooers. This is what I've been advised to do. Let me make sure this wording's right, because I don't want to lose up. Let's see. Okay, so yes, if you want to help out your local tattoo artists in your area, in your state, and have this concern, you can connect with this concern, reach out to your local political representative in your area. Small is okay. You don't have to reach out to Congress. You don't have to reach out for anything. Just your local representative. Google it. What county am I in? Who's my local legislature? Let me reach out to them. Let them know your concern and see if they'd be willing to represent you in your concern. Because one of their voices equals a bunch of ours. If you're a tattooer, you can join the Discord. Right now, it is slow moving, but right now, it's hard for tattooers to use whatsoever because of the multiple facets of communication. And at this point right now, it's been going on for a hot minute. They're trying to figure out key members of who will talk to the health department, and maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't, but it's something we're trying, so I like having my hands just to know what's going on, and I'm keeping positive for the entirety of it. I really hope that we don't have these new laws, because it will be pretty difficult as a tattooer to, financially cover everything. And as a boss, I'm worried for my staff. I'm worried for I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed about even inviting new artists into the state, because there's all these difficulties ahead of them that are severely more than other states. Because I have multiple licenses throughout the country, because I travel and I work in other places, and this is beyond the hardest.
Yeah. At one point I thought New Mexico was pretty tough, but you just trumped it right there with that some of those fees, and yes, and these potentially imposed discriminatory. I mean, at the base of it, it's very like tattooers are bad people. We need to keep away from our kids. We need to make sure they have plenty of insurance because they're going to hurt people. And then we want to make sure that we let everyone know they're coming around. So just in case we want to kick them out, we can. That's just what I get from it, from my perspective. And
Yeah.
although our state, like I said, it feels pretty strict, we're very accepting of tattooing. So that's the part that's really alarming. It just feels very not just political and not just monetary, but almost just like I said, like tattooed people are bad people and we need to punish them. So let's throw these things on them so they have a hard time here.
And not even bad people. I feel like maybe it's a call that they feel like we're really derelict, that we're irresponsible.
Sure.
One of the comments I heard from them is that they want us to do the surety bond because what if we don't renew our licensing on time? And like that is the most bogus thing I've ever heard because, well, if we don't renew our license, then we have to do it over and give you more money to get our license. So that doesn't make any sense. And again, if it's a financial thing, there are other ways to make money in healthcare, and we have provided them with those ideas based off of other states that have been successful with, their tattoo community. And so that again, like maybe that note was not passed on to the new power holder. I won't name names at all. Everyone can go. I don't want to call anyone out or pinpoint anyone having this direct control because it's not. It's an entire department making decisions. So overall, I think it is strange because the health departments, like their job is to protect, consumer health. And I don't know if anyone's aware of this, but tattooing has had a really, difficult time in history here in America. And, a lot of our legends that are dying off are maybe dying off with their stories. But, let's see, in New York City, a place that tattooing seems to be legal forever, in Shanghai Day was almost shut down. And Wild Puddle got together and got with them to be a part of the health department so they can have proper treating and learn autoclaves and learn, sterile procedure. And then tattooing was allowed to be available. Because overall, if we don't have correct communication with the health department or guidance or anything, outbreaks can happen. And I'm talking about real outbreaks, I think tattooers we're highly trained professionals if we've gone through the proper steps to be where we're at, but right now we have plenty of tattooers that are tattooing legally at hotels and their houses and not posting them online. They're very visible. And yet we have people like me and a lot of people on the Discord that are, again, tattooing, law-abiding, doing everything that needs to be under their enforcement rules, and depending on who reads those rules. This is an example that I brought up to them when I have spoken with them like 2 to 3 years ago now. I brought my friend along with me who was a shop with Tulsa, and his bill that was $15,000 less than mine because of who was doing the final inspection. My walls had to be a complete room where his got to be partitions. So
yeah,
it's like that.
It's I'm glad you brought up the history a little bit because there's very similar parallels across the country. Again, it feels like those of us who want to step up and do what's appropriate, do what's right, do get our license and go through the proper channels. We're the ones that we're the ones that are fined and are come inspected. But if you're right, if you're operating outside of it, you're operating at home or in a hotel room, well, it's outside their jurisdiction. They can do nothing about it. So it's definitely, it's unfortunate that it would seem to reward the behavior of stepping outside of licensure and to punish. And now in your case in Oklahoma, throw extra punishment on top of trying to be a legitimate tax-paying professional. But you touched on what's going on in New York. For those who don't know too, like the APT was around back in the 90s to help out with the same thing. And I always want to kind of clarify the difference. You said, the tattooers like Shanghai Kate and Lal Tuttle, and then you're going to get into like Sean Anderson or Pat Saunders. They didn't particularly join forces with the health department. They went and educated, right? They stood up for the industry to keep the health departments, whether it be state or county or whatnot, from imposing regulations like what you are, some of these things you're dealing with, and actually helped many states become legal, because not just New York, but several states throughout the country, it was illegal. And we've taken that for granted, because we forgot whether it's they got off, or the mess, or the story went with them, or they weren't able to share it. And without us working together and coming together and showing some sort of solidarity, we're going to get pushed around. And right now, they're trying to push Oklahoma tattoo artists around. And the response that you're having, or at least you and your peers are forming this Discord. And what my experience with it is great. It's a platform. Discord's unique because it's a place where people can come and congregate and have open discussions and live conversations and stream and video. And you guys are like getting all of the different tattoo shops throughout Oklahoma to find a voting body, I believe, and using those voting bodies to elect specific tattoo artists, more representatives, or even body piercers in your state, to create some sort of board, which is not a health board. It's literally just a group of tattoo artists, a body that's completely industry, and using that body and their spheres of influence to share their concerns and ideas with the health department. And this is exactly how you make change. And of course, there's going to be growing pains, and sometimes it's difficult, but you guys are just by that collection alone, you can get political support. And just like you said, one lawmaker represents a lot of people, right? A lot of constituents. And that's what, will really, I believe, make a positive impact when they're deciding if they're, I think they were saying, they're assessing the situation. They'll say, well, shoot, maybe these things aren't that smart. Maybe we should reassess and realize that you're going to be hurting commerce, right? You're going to be hurting those who are providing money to the health department, right? Paying taxes and such. And I think this is a good example for other states, because there's stuff going on in New Jersey, there's stuff going on in my state, there's stuff going all over. And so many tattoo artists feel like there's not a lot that they can do. So, I'll just go and tattoo illegally, right? Because I can get away with it for now, right? But there's the modern day equipment supplies and such. I mean, you've been tattooing for 16 years, you said? Yeah, 17 years, like you got a taste of it. When we started out, it was still like making a lot of your equipment and knowing all the ins and outs. Now, many tattoo artists, I mean, myself included, I don't make stuff anymore. I mean, I get to buy the newest, nicest stuff. But what happens if, it gets so strict that you don't have as much ease and access to it if you're not a licensed professional, right? So we just got to keep in mind that running away from the problem is not the solution, but coming and facing it head on together is. And again, I commend what you guys have been able to do. And I would like to, we're recording this. This is live now, but we're also recorded. We'll share it again on our channels. Hopefully, you and I can both share it on ours with a link to the Oklahoma Body Art Alliance Discord. So that way, if people are still interested or want to know more information, they can join the fight, right? Join their name. Because really, that's all it takes. It's a signature and just saying, I agree.
Yeah.
And this is also, we want to see support and give support to each state, through the Alliance of Professional Tattooists, which, you're knowing is it's the industry trade organization, right? Like this is not to be in every state. This is to support the nation, right? This is to support everyone. And when we can share what's going on with Oklahoma and New Jersey and Oregon and other states, then we can as an industry support you all with our votes and petitions and such, saying, hey, I know that this is something specific that's happening in Oklahoma, but we as an industry, as a trade organization, there's what we believe, and we do not believe this is efficient, fair, and here's what we believe would be the most effective way to regulate and govern your state. So, I mean, I feel like it was eye-opening or eye-catching to see what you all are doing, what you're facing, and I hope that you all have a lot of success, and I want to keep in touch. And I continue to share your guys' message to get more support from others, because I mean, ultimately at the end of the day, that's, you get enough people paying attention to it, then that health department's going to feel a little insecure about potentially trying to hurt some specialists.
Yes, so very well said. Even though we are federally all the same, we are different state by state, sometimes county by county. We are still a community nationwide, worldwide. Even Europe right now, I know all my ink suppliers right now are dealing with the European, there's a lot of things that we are all communicating all together all the time. So Oklahoma tattooers, every single tattooer in each state, you're not in a bubble. I like what you said, Ben, we can all connect together. We can all gain each other's influence, because when it comes down to talking to a department like the Department of Health, you have to bring with evidence, you have to bring with resources, give them a solution, because they don't have the funding and they don't have the staffing to come up with their own solutions sometimes. And they're also not just doing the health department here, state by state. The health department will also be in charge of pools. I found out all the pools in Oklahoma. That's also one of the main person that's in charge of the health department's job, is also to know about all the pools. Yeah. So
they're similar.
Yes, we come together. We build a really good collection, a really good, not just an argument of slandering and name calling, but an argument of facts and solutions. That is the best way to communicate with them. And if you can have some of your representatives be those kind of people that can think on their feet, that can be held up with it. Those are the people who should at least speak to your representatives, not the angry ones, because that never really solves anything. There's someone that knows the facts, that's updated, and can also present or really represent the opinion of the mass.
That's what's said too. I love it. No, you're right. Adding to the steps, coming together and showing a unified force, come together with some facts and evidence and a professional demeanor, because we don't want to, prove them right in the sense of showing that we're belligerent and somehow, violent and mean and making death threats. We want to show we are professional, mindful citizen, that want to be contributing and be treated fairly and treat fairly. So no, I think I feel like you all are on the right path, and I want to, once this is done, recorded, we can share it more. We can engage with anyone else is watching it and interested. You can check out the Oklahoma Discord, Body Art Alliance Discord. We'll put a link on the post itself, and I don't know if there's a link in your Instagram, or we can point somewhere we can. Yeah, I believe now on Instagram you can put several links in your website. It might be good to throw it in there just so you can hop on it. Thank you for taking the time on your early Sunday morning. I know we're cutting your rest time. I know you got to move and finish the rest of your movement today. So thank you so much for chatting with me. Heard nothing but great things from Lauren and some of our peers. So I definitely hope we can continue to communicate and stay connected and help Oklahoma, move forward in a more positive way that makes sense for our industry.
No, thank you very much for reaching out and hosting this, because I really do feel like the more voices that can be heard, this gives them the opportunity to actually know what to say. So I know what's going on. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. And Oklahoma, I really appreciate it.